Yes, hello, YouTube. I am filming today, just me, and that's why we have this lovely intro. So I want to say thank you. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, it's Kirkendoll's in Messy Life. Welcome to the mess, guys. And I am currently trying to do a facelift to filming. So if anyone has ideas, let me know. I appreciate all the comments I have been getting lately. I want to thank you for all the beautiful stories I've gotten with my MS. I just thank you. It's always nice to hear that you are not alone, and I really appreciate you guys telling me your story, and it was hard for me to tell mine, and that's why you always see me kind of playing or doing something with my hair or this, because it's like a nervous habit. So anyways, today's topic, I have my notebook out here in front of me because I don't want to miss anything, and there'll probably be a couple parts to this, but we also have on this channel about metaphysical, and in that I have been connecting and trying to channel more energy, like channeling. I'm a medium, but with that you have to have control with stuff, and that's why this video is going to be called Control, because it's hard, and people who have MS, you know it's hard. It is hard. I can't control my own body, and now you want to be, Spirits wants to be a vessel to bring messages and do all this, and I also want to learn as well through them. But what I am finding out is that I have to do some spiritual work for myself before I can go really deep in everything I want to do. And it's hard. It's very touchy, and you know, it's always easier for me to be on the other side giving information that is maybe hurtful or saddens people, but I feel like since they asked for the message, and what I hear or what I read through tarot readings, I will give that to them, and hopefully it's beneficial. What I am finding out is that for me to access all of me, and I need to give up control. And I've been trying to meditate, and I've been doing self-guided meditations, and they've been going actually pretty good. I have made it up to a 20-minute one. That's as far as I can go right now, but I am happy to make it there. But I really want to talk about emotions, because I also connect with this other lady who's a friend and also a medium, and helps me. We all have stuff to work through. She's more like a shrink as well, but you get other stuff with it. And what I am finding out, that I have to work through these things, and I want to go over this journey, because a lot of videos, you know, I've had some of my friends, personal friends, not say, yeah, your videos are all kind of moody and kind of dark, and it's just, that's kind of what I'm working on. I'm working through stuff, and I want to explain this, what I'm working through, and it all stems down to control and emotion. And what I need to do is break down my barriers, my walls. I have all these invisible walls up where you cannot harm me. You know, my MS harms me, but I'm not going to let anybody else in to harm me. So it's a barrier I have put up for a very long time, and there's walls upon walls. And as I'm finding this out, I have done it with a lot of people as well, and there's the lady I had my medium reading with, and also just spiritual reading, all this stuff we connect with, pinpoint it. I need to go back and pinpoint where this stemmed from. And I'm just saying, well, that's going to be emotional. But when you think of problems, self-doubt, or any of these, like these walls didn't come up for no reason. MS did not come up for no reason. We will get into how MS came up. But that is way later on, because that has to tell its own truth and story if you are going to hang in here that long for it. But I put all these walls up of emotional barriers. I didn't want anyone to break me down, because if I was going to break down, it was going to be on my own terms, my time, and I wouldn't let people get too close. And with that, because of this, that stemmed from abandonment as a child. And we're going to take the stigma out of daddy issues, because I hate that. People have issues how they have issues. I have abandonment issues as a little girl because of being left at daycare while my dad would drive by and honk and wave on his way, and we would be out at the daycare, it was called La Petite at the time, and be out on the playground and wave. And it's just like, my mind wasn't developed as a kid to really understand the meaning of, well, why, my thing was, why can't I stay home? He's home. I hated going to daycare. It's just like, if you're not in school, why do you have to go to daycare? And so that started the abandonment issues of, am I not worthy enough? Am I not good enough? And it stems further on as when my dad committed suicide. And I never thought about it like this, and it was easy to look the other way, because this shit's hard. It's emotional. But I want to get down to this emotional shit and real shit, because this happens. But when he committed suicide, it left a permanent abandonment issue. And being 11 years old at that time, I didn't understand it. And yes, I'm getting emotional. I don't have to be a rock and full of walls all the time. I am right now 29 years old and an emotional mess, trying to deal with these problems, because they have stemmed so far. What I want to say, not so far. They have been there for very long without being dealt with. But him committing suicide, being permanently left behind, my psyche as a child wasn't developed yet for me to fully understand death, to fully understand that he was depressed and alcoholic. My mom and I went to counseling to grieve his death, and because I was in the anger stage of death for over a year. And the thing that was great about that is here I grieved, and I want to thank my mom for that, because we lose people all the time. But I grieved his death. So all these issues, I buried them. I was like, I grieved. I know how to do this. Even when my Nana died, and she was my dad's mom, very dear to me, it's like, it's just kind of like, okay, it's going to hurt like hell, but I know how to do this. Bearing all these emotions led to anger. Because I didn't know how to express it. It built up all this exterior, these walls of, I don't want to let anyone in. And with anger, and true anger, people who are angry, the root of that is fear. It was fear. Because fear of being left behind. What does that mean? I don't understand. I thought I was a good child. Why would my father choose beer over me? Why would he choose to leave me at the daycare? And as an adult, I could rationalize, well, those were his own problems. But that never got to my issue of why I had these walls up. And with the fear of this, I never would connect with people. I would connect enough to be popular, to fit in, for I would be noticed, but not noticed enough. I had like maybe 2 or 3 friends, but they never knew everything. They knew a version of Lauren. And this continues throughout childhood, throughout teenage years, I'm 29 years old, and I want to say this, throughout even my 20s, I was scared to let anyone in I was not good enough. I was going to be abandoned. I was not maybe liked, but then again, I didn't care about being liked, but it was this fear of what is going on with me. And I still don't know how to deal with everything. I'm learning a little bit, but I want to share this because I think a lot of people, we all tear ourselves up. We all become our own demons. And with never fully connecting with anybody, I connected with my mom. My mom, still we have a great relationship. She became my rock, but also she became the barrier for all these walls. She became my anger, my fear. She held up this. And it's like, that's my sword. It's like I have this sword at all times. I have it up. It's like, you want to come for me? Let's go. And that's no way to be, because you don't know me, I don't know you, and I consider that just sad. Being very lonely and not understanding why I was lonely, because I went to school when I really wanted to. I hated going, but I went. And I made friends. I was in groups. I did shit, went out, did the movies, and even in my 20s, I worked part-time. I went to college, went to some parties, made some friends here and there. Yeah, connected, had friends, had coffee dates, had boyfriends. But even with men, I would never fully let anyone in. The first time, my boyfriend currently now, I think, is the first person I ever let fully in besides my mother. And that, we've been together for 4 years. It took a few years to even let all those walls down. And still sometimes they come up in fear, where it's like we love each other, but we have problems communicating. And that is a lot on my end, because I cannot let everything down. And my big thing is that I'm very blunt, I'm very to the point, and you're not going to get any bullshit with me, which, he's like, I love that. But there's also that double side of, well, I don't know how to deal with this emotion, so I'm going to bury it or put up this wall. And that just causes more problems. Being more lonely, unable to deal with my emotions that are inside me, or even tell people, like telling my peers, or that I can't connect with people. I mean, I was in this medical program and I was reading all this stuff on sociopaths that couldn't connect with anyone. And I was a very active reader and would learn, and I loved it and loved music, and I would connect to a point, but there was something I would always find fault in. And I made sure I would find fault in that person, for I could back away and not be let down or stabbed in the back or something. I'm doing this to myself. What this led to was depression. I got depression as a teenager, 16, 17. And that for me, depression, if you ever have it, you'll never forget it. It's been a lifelong battle with me. I am not always depressed, not always on depression medicine, but there's times where it's really bad and I have to have medicine. And you guys have seen the suicide video. If not, check it out. I've been depressed and been in the psych ward trying to commit suicide as I think 17, 18. So all these oppressed emotions of control, not having control, but making sure I had the utmost control, keeps leading to a downward spiral. And I want to say this because this was the most beneficial information I have got in a long time. Depression is a past emotion. People who are struggling with depression, it's a past emotion. You are struggling, and that right there, all this, it roots from the very start of, you could call it daddy issues. I'm not going to label it. I hate labels. But abandonment issues, not being in control. And we see children acting out and the loss of control. We see these mass shootings and we wonder what's wrong with them. No. That's the wrong question. Why aren't their voices heard? They have to do that for their voices heard. And this little girl at 11 years old who lost her father could not voice her emotion because I could not understand it, and it continues throughout my 29 years. If this resonated with anybody out there, DM me. I know not everyone wants to get this personal. DM me and let me know what you think. This is Kirkendoll's A Messy Life. Yes, I'm going to get up now, and you will see me ending this video, but